welcome to J.A. Biztown Financial Literacy Part 1. Before we get started, please make sure that you have your citizen guide, a pencil, and a highlighter, and maybe some sticky notes if needed, okay? Also, I think it's important because you're going to be citizens of Biztown that you know the Biztown Pledge and that you agree to it. So open your citizen guide to page 29 and you'll come to J.A. Biztown Citizen Pledge. Let's read that together. As a citizen of J.A. Biztown, I pledge to respect all citizens, be responsible and honest, tell the truth, work and take breaks at assigned times, help others, vote, obey the rules and laws of J.A. Biztown, pay taxes at J.A. Biztown. I promise to fulfill my duties as a citizen of J.A. Biztown. Now take a moment and sign your name on the line and put the date. A signature is your name written in cursive. Go ahead and pause the video and do that. Okay, now close your books, and I want you to look at the front of your book. This is a picture of a town, right? What seems to be at the center of the town? City Hall and the bank, right? Those are the buildings that are at the center of the town. And that's because they're at the center of the town's economy. An economy is a system that guides how money is earned and used in a society. Over the next few weeks, we will be learning more about economy. Today, we're going to talk about financial institutions. Financial institutions are businesses that provide money-related services. Most people use the generic term bank. A similar financial institution is also called a credit union. A credit union offers many of the same services as a bank, but is owned by its members. Now, open your citizen guide to page 1. You should read at the top, why go to the bank? On the lines provided, I want you to list, just brainstorm some services that you think that the bank might offer. This would be a good time to pause the video and discuss with your parent some of the services that banks may offer. You may even want to visit some online banking websites and see what are those services. Do this now. Okay, well, I hope some of your ideas for the page 1 said checking account, savings account and CDs, online banking and ATMs. Maybe you put personal loans or bank loans, debit cards, credit cards, or safe deposit boxes. Those are all the services that banks offer. And if you're unfamiliar with any of those words, in the back of your citizen guide, page 85, I'm going to turn there so you can see it. Page 85, there is a glossary. And that glossary is filled with all the definitions of financial terms that you would need to know. So on your free time, or just out of curiosity, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, take some time and go through the glossary and learn some of those definitions of those words. Okay. Now notice below, my pages are getting a little jumbled here. Below there it says match the banking services with the correct arrow and number. We're still on page 1. We're jumping around a little bit. We're on page 1 at the bottom. And it says match the banking services with the correct arrow number. Arrow number 1, if you notice, is the bank making loans to people. And arrow number 2 is an example of banks making loans to businesses. Arrow number 3 represents people deposit money into the bank and repaying loans. Arrow 4 is businesses depositing money into the bank and repaying loans. Now, take a minute and match the correct banking services up with the letters. For example, letter A, Becky made a deposit into her checking account. Which arrow represents that? That would be arrow 3, because people deposit money into banks, into their checking accounts, right? And that's what Becky's doing. So arrow 3 would be the correct answer. Go ahead and pause the video and complete this section of the worksheet. Okay, let's go through the worksheet. Letter B. The J.A. Biztown newspaper made the last payment on its startup loan. The correct answer would be number 4. Letter C. Carmen received a loan to buy a new car. Number 1 will be the correct arrow. The utility company deposited customer checks. Number 4 would be the correct number. Letter E. Rick made payments on his home loan. Number 3 would be the correct arrow. Letter F. The J.A. Biztown grocery store received a loan to buy a new shopping cart. Number 2 would be the correct arrow. How did you do? Were you sure which arrow for each letter or each scenario? Well, give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. Okay, moving on. Let's go to page 3. When you're at Biztown, you'll be asked to do a banking application, in which, if you look at the very bottom of the page, it gives you an account number. We're not going to worry about the account number today because if you notice it says do not write below this line because you'll be assigned an account number after you're assigned a job. We're going to focus mainly on the top section of the worksheet of the bank application. Notice at the top it says application type. So you would check the boxes that you are applying for a checking, a savings, and a debit card. You are actually going to be applying for all of them, so please put an X in all of the boxes. Okay, the next section, you're going to write your name, where it says name of applicant, your street address, your city and state, your zip code and phone number. Notice below that it says Social Security number, and there's a number already written in for you. Well, if we look above, we see the citizen alert, and it says banks often ask for Social Security numbers for their accounts. When other people ask you for your Social Security number, you should never share it without your parents' permission. That's why we put a pretend Social Security number in place of that area. Okay? Marital status, you should check if you're married or single. This is a pretend town, so I guess you could put whichever one you wanted, but your status should be single for now. Please sign here and present proof of your ID. Okay, let's look at that citizen alert too. You should try to sign your name on important papers the same way at all times so that your bank will know it's really you. That is important. So, you know when you signed in your citizen pledge, your signature should look exactly the same on this application. So remember, a signature is your name written in cursive. Go ahead and pause the video and complete the application. Okay, the last page that we're going to complete in this section is choosing a financial institution. Choosing a financial institution is important because you want to make sure that they're going to provide you with the services that you need. For example, a bank is a for-profit business that is approved and backed by the federal government. Banks receive deposits from citizens, businesses, pay interest, make loans, invest in security, collect checks, and keep safe deposit boxes. They are owned by private investors and operate much like other businesses. Now, a credit union is slightly different. It's a not-for-profit business, and it's owned by its members. Credit unions serve groups that share something in common, such as where they live or where they work. The board of directors that run the credit union usually is not paid. its mission is to provide personal services to the customers. The credit union's profits are paid back to the members, but services may be limited. Savings and loans, another option for a financial institution. This institution often focuses on real estate financing. They are backed by the government and run by board of directors. They can be a corporation or a type of business where making deposits is like investing in the company. And lastly, there's the financial institution of internet banks. Customers can access their money by using mobile apps, telephone, web pages, and ATMs, but there are no local branches or walk-up tellers. Fees at these banks are minimal and interest rates paid are often higher. Below are some different scenarios about people in our town. And they have different financial institution needs. Take a minute, pause the video, read the scenarios, and put which financial institution would best suit their situation. Do that now. Okay, great. Now, Joe works at a company where he designs shoes. He needs to have a bank service, but wants to use a local bank that would support his company. Where did you put that Joe should do his banking? The credit union would be the correct answer. Number 2, Jesus and Juanita are buying a new home. They want a government-backed bank that understands loans and can also manage their deposits and checking account. Where should they do their banking? Savings and loans would be the correct answer. Number 3, Jamina has never used a bank before and wants to be sure her money will be safe. She wants to be able to write checks and make deposits and have a debit card without paying high monthly fees. Where should Jamina do her banking? Did you put the bank? Great job. Number 4, Jordan is a businessman and often on the go. He wants to be able to bank anytime and any place. Where should Jordan do his banking? The correct answer would have been internet banking. Although we know today that a lot of credit unions and banks offer internet banking services, the answer still here would be internet banking. Great job. Okay, so to sum it all up, financial institutions play an important role in the operation of an economy. People and businesses deposit money there, and people buy goods and services using their bank accounts. People borrow money for goods and services, and that's important to know. That's what you'll be doing at JA BizTown. You are going to be offering goods and services, and you'll also be purchasing goods and services. You'll also have a business loan and your own personal checking, savings, and a debit card to be in use while you're there. So you too are going to be stimulating the economy in the BizTown city. And just to remember, we're going to look at our beautiful poster here. Banks make loans to people. Banks make loans to businesses. And people deposit their money in the bank and repay loans, and businesses do the same thing. They deposit into the bank and they repay loans. I hope you now know what an economy is and what stimulates the economy. Have a great rest of the day.